Call of Duty Zombies is a unique experience that honestly is not shared by a lot of other games in the video game sphere, and cannot generally be compared to other zombie games such as Left 4 Dead 2 or Dead Rising. However, that does not mean the mode has not crossed over into other areas of the game, and in fact this was an extremely prevalent addition to a Call of Duty game released 7 years ago known as Black Ops 4. After the major success of Black Ops 3 and even the release of Zombies Chronicles in the year prior, Activision began to see the potential for a zombies mode and eventually would increase the funding for the mode. As a result of this increase in funding, the Black Ops 4 Zombies mode would be loaded with content from day one, including but not limited to 4 maps at launch, each with their own animated intro cutscene, a whole new perk system and loadout system, and even an entire custom mutations tab to switch up the zombies mode entirely. Obviously, for those who know the tragedy of Black Ops 4, you would know that the release of this game was extremely buggy, leading to not only multiple crashes across a wide range of Easter egg attempts, but additionally a large discontent and disgust for the game as a whole by nearly the entire community. The game would seemingly receive less and less funding because of this, leading to less animated cutscenes and seemingly taped together endings that would serve to be a bittersweet ending for the Aether storyline. Throughout this, however, zombies was not just prevalent within its respective mode. In fact, zombies was actually heavily present within Blackout, Call of Duty's first attempt at making a battle royale that, in my opinion, outclasses the qualities of the modern Warzone we have, but I digress. The map would feature aspects of the zombies mode such as whole locations including Verrucht, remnants of maps like Buried in Transit, and would even feature the zombies themselves as well as the mystery box and wonder weapons. But of course that is not what we're talking about today. Rather, we are discussing how the multiplayer within this game had a wide range of zombie references that surprised a lot of people upon their release, including myself, as it seemingly appeared out of nowhere. So without further ado, let us talk about that one time zombies went multiplayer. With its inclusion within Blackout, the already disappointed zombies community almost felt like Activision were pouring salt in the wound, as of course during this time the Treyarch developers, notably Jason Blundell, were becoming less and less talkative and communicative as they once were with the community before launch. Bugs riddled the game and made it less enjoyable to play. I mean, some people could not even complete Easter eggs during this time to find out what cutscene could be lying past around 150 gold that could never be achieved. But instead of fixing these issues, Treyarch just simply pushed more and more into Blackout, effectively seemingly making more zombies content at the time for Blackout than there was for zombies at the time itself. However, on July 9th, 2019, with the DLC named Operation Apocalypse Z, Treyarch would focus all of their eggs into the zombies basket and would drop a variety of zombies related content, with one of these pieces of content focusing on zombies and multiplayer. 3 multiplayer maps would drop on this DLC: Remnant, Der Schatten, and Havana, with 2 out of the 3 being references to zombies. But with all the talk out of the way, let's dive into the hidden Easter eggs, references, and just really cool designs of these zombies inspired maps, starting with Remnant. Before we dive directly into Remnant, I want to provide a brief overview so you know what to expect. Essentially, this map is representative of a Call of Duty Zombies museum, diving into different eras of the maps and modes and having the layout filled with unique references and little Easter eggs that would make any zombies player excited. But let's start outside the museum. Outside on the side leading into the museum itself, we can actually see it is called the Museum of Unnatural History, which actually has the top of the Doris mainframe on each side of the sign itself. As we look around the outskirts of the outdoor portion of this map, we see these banners on the lights that look like something you would see at a museum, of course. However, they have zombies exhibits listed on them, with some examples being Wicked Waters, Crater of Hell, and the Bus from Beyond. Additionally, as can be seen on the cars surrounding the museum, it is pretty clear that something has happened here, as buyer response fans are present and covered in ketchup, suggesting that the zombies raided the zombies museum? Irony at its finest. Anyways, getting back on track, other vehicles are present in the lot too that state that this museum is actually located in Louisiana of all places, which is extremely odd to me as nothing in the zombies universe occurs in Louisiana as far as I know. I should probably mention the humongous statue that we see in the parking lot of this map, which actually is from Dead of the Night and has the word Suscipit Mundum on the bottom, which of course is Latin and roughly translates to "he takes up the world." Located nearby is a mural that clearly depicts the Great War, which is actually really cool as the mural is actually the same exact mural that we run on in Black Ops 3 in Shadows of Evil. Going around the left side of the building, we can actually catch a glimpse of the map of the museum, which will reveal that the museum has a total of 4 main sections: Moon, Bus from Beyond, Wicked Waters, and Asylum. I'm gonna go clockwise, but as we enter the museum itself through the main entrance, we see the symbols seen in the Chaos maps, and to the right we can actually see 4 movie posters. What is really cool is that obviously this far right one was meant to be a movie about the events of Shadows of Evil, which is a cool nod, and on top of this, the 2 movies in the center are produced in Morgue City, which can be evident through the text at the bottom of the poster. For the longtime Zombies player, the far left poster is the Escape from the Tomb poster, which appears in Mob of the Dead, which is a great little feature in this map. Besides that, the lobby is just filled with more ketchup, but we do see these cool little pamphlets behind the counter. But going to the left is where it gets really cool, as within glass casings we see a wide range of Zombies references. For instance, in the middle we can see shields that appear in 9, what seems to be a empty Samantha box from Tag der Toten, which funnily enough had not actually been released yet, the iconic teddy bear, and even a screen from Moon and a astronaut helmet. Nearby there is portraits hung up of Verrückt, which actually will be a trend in this map for some reason, as you will soon listen on, and to the right there is another glass casing that includes a wheelchair from Verrückt, a blueprint of the Chaos Theory from Dead of the Night, a computer from Moon, and 3 other blueprints that appear in Classified for the Teleporter, Winter's Howl, and even the Nova 6 crawlers. The Origins mystery box sits in this room as well, with an empty Black Ops 4 soda machine sitting in the corner. But now we can enter the first real exhibit, the Crater from Hell, aka Moon. Essentially, this whole room is filled with references to Moon, of course. The whole room itself even looks like Moon from Chronicles, and features a multitude of characteristics from the map, such as computers, excavator computers, astronaut suits, the space dog, and even the cosmic silverback from Dead Ops Arcade. For some reason, there is a blueprint for the Valkyrie drones from Gorod Krovi, and even a couple trophies from that Easter egg as well, which is definitely a weird inclusion for the Moon section. We also encounter a zombie in this section, which actually can be killed but cannot harm the player in any way whatsoever, but it's a nice touch since, you know, it's a zombies museum. There is a mini model of Griffin Station, as well as a giant model of the MPD on the Moon with dummy astronauts strung above it. I should mention that each main location within this game has its own audio recording from an unknown narrator, and this is what the Moon one sounds like.
Not only were Homo sapiens preceded on the Earth by apes, they were beaten into the void by our antecedents too. We've been sending monkeys into space since 1949. No one expected the pioneering primates to survive. After all, what creature could endure the searing radiation of the Van Allen belts? Who could have predicted that not only would those adventurous apes live, but once freed of gravity's tyranny, thrive in that alien environment? Highly classified footage returned by the early Apollo missions showed evidence of crude structures on the surface of our companion sphere, of creatures looking up with vengeful eyes, plotting a return to their mother world, eager to make us pay for abandoning them to the cold, cruel vastness of space.
The last thing I wanted to mention about this section is that there are actually computers that are turned on that seem to actually show live footage of the real Griffin Station on the actual Moon, which is just a really neat touch in my opinion. Exiting the room, there is a hallway to the left that can lead to a gift shop for the museum. There really isn't too much to note about this area. There are t-shirts that represent exhibits, and there are posters that have the Origins head and the original 4 perks on them, which is cool I guess. But the coolest part about this section is the teleporter that is bridges here from the giant and Der Eisendrache that can actually be used to get to other parts of the map. But moving on, we now enter the Bus from Beyond exhibit, which if you could not tell already is meant to be an exhibit all about transit from Black Ops 2. For some reason, when you enter this exhibit, you see a giant skeleton of some dinosaur looking thing. I am not entirely sure if this is a zombies reference, but if you guys know, let me know in the comments, because I do not remember anything in zombies looking like this. There is also a Viking ship that appears on 9, and if you look up, the dragon from the intro of Gorod Krovi can be seen in some cool presentation. But getting to the cool stuff, we can obviously see the diner sign from the map, which now has the exhibit name on it, and of course the diner itself. The bus is at the center of the room with Ted back and alive. Unfortunately, he can't talk though. A cool Easter egg on the bus is that if you look at the license plate, it shows COLOFAOO 1990, which is cool as in transit it was Colorado 1960. But underneath the diner sign is where the audio recording for this location is, and take a listen.
The sleepy town of Hanford, Washington State, where normal people go about their mundane lives in peace, where nothing of note ever happens. If only it had stayed that way. One fateful night, the entire population of the town and its surrounds vanished without so much as a trace. Visitors arriving in Hanford the next day were greeted by lava oozing from ragged fissures in the ground and an eldritch clinging fog, rank smell of death. The miasma hung heavy over the deserted town a full week before vanishing as mysteriously as it had arrived. Even carrion birds kept their distance from its creeping, dank, and acrid tendrils. No records exist of Hanford, erased from the history books. Only these artifacts remain to tell the tale of the fate of its inhabitants. Where did they go? Where are their mortal remains? Was this a botched military experiment? An alien abduction? An incursion of an antediluvian dimension into our own? Or did demons rise from the Stygian depths to execute the default clause of some infernal contract? Until such time as the sealed records are declassified, we'll continue to gather relics of this modern Marie Celeste and search for the truth ourselves.
I wish there was more to mention about this area, but it is time to move on to Wicked Waters. The Wicked Waters exhibit is honestly a little weird, as obviously it is based off of Voyage of Despair, but the exhibit itself is more or less just talking about the Titanic. But a really cool piece of this is actually spotted right up front with the Chaos Pack-a-Punch, which unfortunately cannot be used. On the wall to the left there are pictures of the perk statues seen in the Chaos maps as well, and the interior of the Titanic is pretty cool as well. A cool little Easter egg can be seen with the whole Titanic wreckage scene they have set up, as if you look closely, one of the ghostly spirit things is actually the captain of the real Titanic, Edward Smith. But besides that, here is the audio transmission for this section.
The Royal Mail Ship Titanic, its sunken remains, an eternal mute witness to the hubris of man. Dug unsinkable, fate ever fickle had other plans for the pride of Harland and Wolf. On April the 14th, 1912, she struck an iceberg, and it would take the 52,000-ton displacement ship less than 3 hours to vanish beneath the waves, taking with her 1,503 souls to their final resting place even now remain trapped in this mortal realm, tied to her rusting steel bones and to their earthly belongings, many of which are gathered here for your viewing pleasure.
The final main exhibit in this huge museum is Asylum, which obviously is meant to represent Verrucht. To get there though, we pass by a lot of cool zombies pieces such as Element 115 rocks, giant statues from the Chaos maps, and even pictures of the High Priest of Chaos and some ancient drawings. Asylum, aka Verrucht, has probably the smallest surface area of all of the topics, but the presentation looks really good, and as soon as we walk in we are greeted with the iconic chair from the map itself. If we go left, we enter a room that has a lot of cool Verrucht pieces, including the Power Will Reunite You chunk of the wall, pictures of the map, the Shadows of Evil mystery box for some reason, and the coolest part, the scribble wall that was located in the kitchen on the map. The audio recording is also tucked in a corner here, so take a listen.
Picture, if you will, the interior of the infamous Wittenau Sanatorium, final destination for the most twisted and deranged minds of the fatherland. Bathed in the sickly light of the waxing gibbous moon, the air rich with the gibbering wails and desolate cries of the poor unfortunate souls who call this place home. Only the passing of the cruel alienist who rules over this domain quiets these wretches, their drug-addled minds still coherent enough to dimly register fear as Herr Doctor performs his rounds, pausing only long enough at each cell to select his next test subject. One by one, the denizens fall to his skilled blade, sacrificed in the name of scientific progress. The doctor would succeed in producing his ultimate killing machine, only to fall victim to his terrifying creation. Children can be so cruel.
But with that, there is a couple more things I did not mention. There is pictures of the layout of Shadows of Evil, including the map layout and tram layout, as well as an exhibit that is in a work in progress, which can be evident outside through its construction that would have been based off of the Odin statue. But that is it for Remnant. It is such a cool map. I obviously have no idea how it plays in actual multiplayer, but treating it like a museum and just walking around is such a cool feature to me, and I really love this map for it. Now, the second map, Der Schatten, is nowhere near as cool or interesting as the museum map. However, its setting is really interesting in my opinion. Essentially, this map takes place in the village below Der Eisendrache in Austria, which can be seen from below in the actual Der Eisendrache. This is actually such a cool map. The robot that the premise crew were in is still present and crashed, and even areas like the tram are still present and can clearly be shown going up to the castle itself. Obviously, there is not as many zombies references on this map, however there are some really interesting and unique ones. One of the more obvious ones is the statue of Primus Dempsey in the map, which actually has German text below it that I am not going to pronounce, but it translates to the Great Exterminator of Maggot Sacks. When great evil attacks humanity, he returns to smite the wicked. I found that to be such a cool add-on to the game, and the use of his vocabulary is just amazing, and it's unfortunate nobody would really know without diving into this map more. If you go over to the tram station, you can also actually hear the premise crew themselves talking on the channel, obviously implying that they are up at the castle currently and are undergoing the events of Der Eisendrache.
Not fast enough, Hellpig! Look at Dempsey, a man without fear or situational awareness. Sneaky little skinbag clip me. Anybody want it? Yeah. Don't stop charging in like a brute, Dempsey. It really is quite embarrassing to watch.
There are some smaller Easter eggs, such as the zombies that are around the map, that notably have different eye colors than that of Der Eisendrache. There is the iconic teddy bear within the toy store on the map who will actually knock on the glass, which is a really creepy small Easter egg. That is it with Der Schatten. It is a really cool reference map, but obviously, again, I have no idea how it played in regular gameplay, so it could be bad in that sense, but I love the atmosphere of this map. But besides that, those are all of the multiplayer maps that pay direct homage to the COD Zombies mode. Before this video ends, I did just want to mention that yes, Modern Warfare 3 and Call of Duty World War II had zombie events that transformed popular maps such as Quarry and Rust into zombies maps and made Groston House a multiplayer map. I didn't really make a huge deal about this, as these maps do not pay any reference to the original zombies mode, but the map design of each of them are really amazing, and I honestly wish they were transformed into round-based maps, you know, besides Groston House. But that's it. Let me know what you guys thought of the tour of these maps, and let me know in the comments if you ever got a chance to really play on them, because I have no idea if they were good or not. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.